So here it is, the Black Sapphire Samsung Galaxy Note 5. This is the 64 gig model from AT&T, as you can tell by the packaging. AT&T loves to swap out Samsung's Note series packaging with their own less appealing packaging, so thanks for that, AT&T. Opening the box, we get the quick start guide. Here's the Note 5 itself. I'm going to set that to the side for now. Behind that is the Nano SIM. Going further, you get some documentation here about Samsung Pay, some advertising from AT&T, and a health and safety and warranty guide for the Galaxy Note 5. You get the adaptive fast charger here. You get your SIM card tray ejector tool. You get replacement S Pen tips here, as well as a tool to take them out and put the new one back in. And you also get a micro USB cable here. This is micro USB, not USB-C, as some people had hoped for, but I do think that's a good thing because that means that this will still work with your USB on the go cables and any micro USB accessories that you have. So that's good. And then lastly, you get the same headphones that you got with the Galaxy S6. If you want to learn a bit more about these headphones, check out my Galaxy S6 unboxing. I talk a little bit about them in there. So if you want to learn more about that, check it out there. So that's it for the unboxing aspect of this. Now let's take a closer look at the Note 5 itself. Before we go any further, I do have to mention a few very important things which could be deal breakers for some people. First off, there's no replaceable battery. The one that you get in here is what you get for the life of the phone, unless you decide to heat the back up, pry it off, and do some basically repair work on it in order to swap the battery out, and that would also void your warranty. So that's something that you guys should be aware of, that the battery is not replaceable. Also, there's no expandable storage on this one. There's no micro SD card slot anywhere, not even a SIM style one. So that's another important thing to know. If you do use those 128 gig micro SD cards, then you're not going to be able to do that with this one, and you're stuck with the 32 or 64 gig model currently. Samsung may or may not release a 128 gig version, but on some preliminary reports, it looks like they may not be releasing a 128 gig version. So that's something you should definitely know about up front. And the last thing is that there is no IR blaster on this at all. Samsung, for whatever reason, decided to take that off. So I'm not really sure why they did that, but that's gone. So you guys should know about that. Now I will be posting a video on these issues and ways to kind of get around them, to sort of fix them, band-aid them, I guess, if you want to say that. So if you do want to see that, you do still want to get this phone, you're concerned about those issues, then definitely subscribe to the channel, and I'll post a video to show you how to kind of get around those issues. Let's take a quick look at some of the design changes here. So instead of having the headphone jack on top, Samsung has moved it to the bottom like they did with the Galaxy S6. You've got your standard micro USB, and you also have your speaker on the bottom now as well. That used to be on the back on the Galaxy Note 4. And then you have a microphone here as well, and your S Pen. As you can see, that S Pen is kind of embedded in there. You get that out by pressing it in, just clicks out like that. And then you can pull it out like so. And then when you put it back in, it just clicks back in like that. So there is that. On the top side, you get your SIM tray here, and you get another microphone there as well. You've got your volume buttons on the side as usual, and on the other side, you've got your power button. The buttons are a bit smaller on the Note 5 compared to the Note 4. I definitely noticed that right away. On the back, you have your camera, and the sensor and flash here has been moved to the right side of the camera. Previously on the Note 4, it was on the bottom here, so that's been moved as well. And yeah, so that's about it for the design changes. Now let's go ahead and get this started. All right, first things first is we need to put the Nano SIM inside the phone itself. So just go ahead and pop your Nano SIM out. Or if you're carrying over your Nano SIM from your other device, take it out of your old smartphone to put it into this one. Now take your SIM ejector tool and press that into the hole at the top left of the phone, and your tray will eject. Just slide the tray out, put your phone down, and then slide your Nano SIM onto the tray like so. There's a little groove for it to fit into, so you can't mess it up. And then slide that back in with the face of the Nano SIM facing up. So there you go, it just snaps back in place like that. Now we can go ahead and start it up. So let's go ahead and hold the power button. And there we go. I'm going to speed up through different parts of this just so that you guys can not sit through all the boring loading screens, and we can just get right to the good stuff. The setup process for the Galaxy Note 5 is exactly the same as the Galaxy S6, so if you guys want to see that full setup process, go ahead and watch my Galaxy S6 unboxing. If not, then don't worry about that. I'm just going to skip ahead here to the important stuff. So the first important part here is tap and go. I cover this in the Galaxy S6 unboxing video, so if you want to learn more about it, you can check it out there. Simply put, you just tap your old Android smartphone to the back of your new Android smartphone, and all of your apps and accounts will transfer over automatically to make switching to a new Android smartphone pretty easy. So that's that. We're not going to be doing that this time because Samsung has their own migration software called Smart Switch, which transfers not only all of your app and accounts, but it also transfers things like your Wi-Fi settings, your music, your videos, your photos, your messages, pretty much everything. It transfers all of it pretty seamlessly. So I'll be showing you guys how to use that instead because it's a much more seamless way to transfer everything, not just apps and account information. So we're going to go ahead and just skip this. Now that the Galaxy Note 5 is set up, it's time to transfer everything from my Galaxy Note 4 to the Note 5 using the Samsung Smart Switch app. Just download it from the Google Play Store and install it on both devices. As you can see, you can also transfer from iOS devices. To learn how to do that, check out my Samsung Smart Switch video by clicking the banner above or the link in the description. Since these are both Android devices, just tap Android on both of them, click Start on both of them. They'll connect. My Note 4 is the sending device. I want my Note 5 to be the receiving device, so I click that, click Connect, click Next. Once they connect, you'll be shown a list of all the things you could transfer. That includes contacts, calendar, memo, S-notes, call logs, alarms, Wi-Fi settings. So this also transfers all of your Wi-Fi passwords. So if you went to a friend's house and they give you your Wi-Fi password, that'll transfer to your new phone. You won't have to ask them for the password again. Applications. Previously with the Smart Switch app, you'd only get a list of applications and you'd have to tap each application on the list and reinstall it yourself. Now, all of the applications will just install automatically, so that's a recent upgrade to the Smart Switch app. You can transfer your lock screen information, your wallpaper, messages, images, music, videos, voice recordings, documents. If the phone you're transferring from has a micro SD card, you can transfer all of that as well. So just check the things you do want to transfer and uncheck the things you don't want to transfer. When you're done with that, just click Send and wait for the transfer to finish. You don't have to wait for the transfer to finish before you leave this screen. You can go back to your home screen, you can go look at any other apps you have, you can go look at your camera, do whatever you want, and then this will just keep running in the background. And then when it's finished, you'll get a notification letting you know that it's finished, and you will have successfully transferred everything from your old Android or iPhone to your new Galaxy Note 5. So here's a quick look at the S Pen now that we've got the device all set up. Just click it to pop it out, take the S Pen out. You get this Air Command menu here. You can add shortcuts to anything you want. You can add a shortcut to like your web browser. We've got the Bible app here. So let's go ahead and add the web browser, go back. So now anytime you take the S Pen out, you get quick access to Chrome, S-Note, all of these other things. So I'll be covering all of these features in much more detail in my top 100 features video, so definitely stay tuned for that. I just want to show you guys kind of what the S Pen looked like and in the Air Command menu what that looked like as well as kind of a preliminary thing before the video. You click this button here to pull up the Air Command, or you tap the Air Command little icon there as well, and that you can move around to different places on the device. When you put this back in, that little Air Command thing will just kind of disappear. If the screen is off and you take the S Pen out, you'll be able to write directly on the screen right away and just write whatever notes you need to do, whether it's a phone number or someone's name or something like that. You just write that up and then you pop it back in, click it back in place, the note will be saved, and then that's it. You don't have to click save on the top, none of that. You just write your note and then you're done. Next, we have a size comparison. I have here the Note 5, Note 4, LG G4, Galaxy S6, and Galaxy S3 because a lot of people actually still have the Galaxy S3, so I figured it was still relevant in this size comparison here. So here's the Note 5 compared to the Note 4. What's impressive here is how much Samsung shrunk the bezels in on the sides. Very impressive. Same exact screen size, same width, same height, same diagonal, obviously. But when you stack these two on top of each other, it's very impressive to see how much they actually shaved off on the bezel. Very, very impressive to me. So, and that is very noticeable when holding the two devices. You do notice that the Note 5 is definitely thinner than the Note 4. That's very noticeable when you're holding it. It's very easy to hold the Note 5 compared to the Note 4. Not that this is very difficult to hold, but this is just noticeably easier. Here's a quick side view of the Note 5 versus the Note 4. Next, we have the LG G4. This one has a 5.5-inch screen compared to the Note 5's 5.7-inch screen. Yet the width on both of these devices is exactly the same, or at least very, very close. So much so that I can't really tell the difference in the width of these devices. So if you use an LG G4 and you're wondering if the Note 5 is going to be too big for you, The answer is no. It's the same width. They feel about the same in the hand when you're holding it, as far as kind of difficulty holding it, difficulty wrapping your hand around it, about the same for both of them. So very, very impressive on how small Samsung made the phone compared to the screen size. You can definitely tell that there is a difference in height. So if you hold them right next to each other, the screen size is taller, as is the phone. And here is a side view of the LG G4 to the Note 5. Now for the Galaxy S6 compared to the Galaxy Note 5. The Galaxy S6 has a 5.1-inch screen compared to the Galaxy Note 5's 5.7-inch screen. And you can tell that there's a difference here in size when you stack these two on top of each other. That is definitely going to be noticeable for holding. You'll notice that it's certainly easier to hold the Galaxy S6 compared to the Galaxy Note 5 because of these size differences. But it is still impressive, again, as I said before, how small Samsung made the bezels on the Note 5, so that given that you have an extra 0.6 inches on screen size, the phone sizes don't actually seem to reflect that. You wouldn't think you'd get that much more screen for how much bigger the phone is. Here's a side view of the Galaxy S6 next to the Galaxy Note 5. Next, we have the Galaxy S3 next to the Note 5. Galaxy S3 screen is a full inch smaller than the Galaxy Note 5 screen at 4.7 inches, and that's definitely reflected in the size of the devices. You can tell that the Note 5 is obviously substantially larger than the Galaxy S3 for sure. When you stack these on top of each other, you can tell that there's a substantial difference there. And then also here's a look at those from the side. So there you have it. That is a quick size comparison between the Galaxy Note 5 and these four devices here to give you an idea of how big this device is going to be in your hands if you already have one of these devices and you're considering getting the Galaxy Note 5. Time for the compatibility test, where we check to see if the Samsung Galaxy Note 5 works with the Samsung Gear VR for the Note 4 or the Samsung Gear S. The good news is the Gear S does work. I've been using it for a couple days and it works perfectly fine. Calls, messages, all the things that it usually does also works with the Note 5. We don't have to wait for some kind of crazy software update for the Gear S or anything like that. It works right out of the box. If you want to see how to set up the Gear S, then check out my Gear S unboxing and setup video. I'll have a link above or a link in the description. So if you guys want to learn more about this, I also have hidden features and videos like that for this as well. So definitely check those out. The bad news is that the Galaxy Note 5 does not work with the Gear VR made for the Galaxy Note 4. I was going to show you guys everything that I had tried to get this to work in this video, but that ended up being a pretty long video, so I broke it out into a separate video. If you guys want to see everything I tried, including using a metal file and cutting cables, then definitely check that video out by clicking the link at the top of this video or link in the description. Alright, so I do have one last thing that I want to point out to you guys, something that I noticed when I was briefly going through the phone. Some of the toggles have changed, and unfortunately for the worse. There is one good one. You do gain a flashlight toggle, so that's a nice addition, but you lose the touch sensitivity, side key panel, and multi-window toggles. So the multi-window toggle, that's not a big deal. That just means you can't turn multi-window off anymore, but it never got in the way anyway, so that doesn't really matter. Not a problem. Side key panel, this will matter for some people, particularly people with smaller hands, because it basically gives you a little side key panel, obviously by the name, that allows you to do different things, go back, go to your recent apps. This whole thing's customizable. You can check out my 100 Reasons Why the Galaxy Note 4 is Awesome video, and I'll go over this in more detail in that video. So you can check that out if you want to learn more about it. But for now, let's go ahead and disable that. Get that out of the way. And then the other one is touch sensitivity. Now this one's actually pretty important, and I'm pretty upset that this one's taken out because I use this all the time during the winter. Now what touch sensitivity does is, like the name implies, increases the touch sensitivity. So you can swipe back and forth through everything with a glove on, which is great. I use this for taking pictures in the winter, quickly checking messages, things like that without having to take my gloves off. Very, very handy feature. Now, if you try to do that with a Note 5, right? So you can get it if you press hard, then you can get it. But if you just, nice and soft go through, then you can't get it at all, right? So I'm pushing just as hard on both devices, and you just can't get it unless you push really hard. Then you can get it to go. So that's a little depressing. I'm glad to see that it at least works a little bit. So if I press, really hard, then I can get it to work. And it does help that, you can double tap the home button to get into the camera. That will help with some of these issues. And you could use the volume keys. So I guess that's kind of their reasoning around it, that you can get into some of this stuff anyway. But anyways, that's my rant on that. Definitely stay tuned for the top 100 features on the Galaxy Note 5 video. Hopefully they will have enough new awesome features that the few features that they removed won't be too big of an issue. So stay tuned to see that video. And yeah, so that's it. So there you have it, an unboxing, setup, file transfer, compatibility test, and feature overview of the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, let me know by giving it a thumbs up and sharing it on social networks. Also, let me know what you guys want to see in my unboxing videos. Is there something that you wanted to see that I didn't cover, or did I cover something that you thought maybe should have been in a different video? Either way, let me know in the comments below. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe to see all of my Note 5 content right when I post it. That's it for this tech episode. I'll see you guys in the next one.